Donald Trump has quite a few surrogates. He's got, obviously, white surrogates. He's got some black surrogates. And he's got some Hispanic surrogates. Of his Hispanic surrogates, he's got Steve Cortez, who, to be honest with you, I think, he's pretty reasonable being a Trump surrogate. He's got AJ Delgado. She's pretty unreasonable as far as her positions and her defense of Trump. I think that she's Cuban American, but I'm not 100% sure. But this particular person, who is quote unquote not a surrogate, but a Trump supporter, which will be obvious based on this interview on the Bill O'Reilly show. And a word on O'Reilly, I cannot watch him or Hannity pretty much making Kelly, but every so often I force myself to put up a segment featuring him. Anyway, back to the chase. Elvira Salazar was spit in the face by Donald Trump. Why do I say that? Well, Donald Trump was supposed to have done an interview with Ms. Salazar, but he canceled. And he canceled at the last second. Now, as bad as Trump needs supporters in the Florida area, why would he do that? He needs Florida like we need air to breathe. If he loses Florida, it's over. So why would he not have taken the opportunity, 15 minutes out of his day, and he's been in Florida all over the place, but 15 minutes at the airport even to do an interview probably would have sufficed. But no, he cancels the interview, and Ms. Salazar, having had her face spit upon, decided that that spit was champagne, and she sucked it up. Here's the interview with Bill O'Reilly.
So segment time last week we spoke with Elvira Salazar, an anchor woman for Mega TV in Miami. She was supposed to get an interview with Donald Trump, but he kind of walked out on it. That interview was never rescheduled. Ms. Salazar joins us now here in New York City. Are you angry about this?
No, not really. I think it was the right thing for them to do. I think it was the right move. He called me on the phone Tuesday night, and he said he wanted to apologize for not talking to us.
Now, why does she think that was the right thing to do? Trump needs Florida, and she's from what I understand, a pretty famous anchor down in Florida. So why would that be the right thing to do? Doesn't make sense.
That he wanted us to know that he did want to talk to the Hispanic community, but that at this hour he needed to stay focused and he needed to not get off track.
All right.
If he needed to stay focused, everybody and their brothers knows that the Hispanic vote down in Florida is pretty much going to make or break the Florida elections, okay, as far as winning the electoral votes out of Florida. So if you're going to focus, in my opinion, that should have been a primary focus. But being a Trump supporter, obviously she's going to side with whatever Mr. Trump decided to do. That makes absolutely zero sense, in my opinion.
He was polite, he was a gentleman, he called you and he explained, I would be teed up, but you're much nicer than I am. Now, as far as Hispanics in Florida are concerned, Donald Trump needs a big turnout on his behalf to win that state. Do you think it's going to happen?
Oh, I think Cuban Americans could really help him tremendously. In the last 2 months, he has gained 20 points among Cuban American voters.
Why?
In South Florida. I think President Obama has helped him tremendously with his Cuba policies. And basically what happened 2 weeks ago at the United Nations. For the first time in 55 years, the United States has not voted pro the embargo against Cuba.
All right.
Okay, so that would help Trump as far as the older Cubans are concerned. But the younger Cubans are not of the same mind. They do not have the same focus as far as the Cuban embargo is concerned. They really do want to see Cuba opened up. Now, the other point, the Puerto Ricans are coming. The Puerto Ricans are there. There has been a major influx into Florida of the Puerto Rican community, and they are solid behind Clinton. So the effect of that may be to offset the Cuban bloc that is behind or supporting Donald Trump. And Ms. Salazar is going to make a statement that misrepresents where the majority of the Puerto Rican community are weighing in.
So Cuban Americans in Dade County, where you live in Miami, and then throughout the state, follow this stuff very, very closely, whereas a lot of Americans, they don't know what happened at the UN.
Absolutely.
So after President Obama didn't vote to uphold some of the embargo, Cubans got angry, and that's going to help Donald Trump?
I would imagine that is the straw that broke the camel's back.
So
why?
Dade County is usually Democratic, though.
It is, except that voting bloc called the Cuban Americans.
And you think they're going to go for Trump, the majority?
I would say that right now 60% of the Cubans would go for Trump.
Wow.
Well,
so he should have talked to you. I mean, that would have helped him, though. He needs Florida desperately.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why he really wanted to talk to us. But I think that the wiser political move would have been 5 months ago, 6 months ago, when he became the nominee, to go to the heart of the community, not only to the Cuban Americans in Miami, to the Puerto Ricans in Central Florida, to the Mexicans in California. And
yeah, he really was going to go to the Mexicans in Central California after he spit in their face, and you could see what the effect of that was. So this lady doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground. And the Puerto Ricans, they love the Clintons. So there was no way that Trump was going to pry them out of the Clinton camp. So basically traditional Fox propaganda, and she's on the show to spew their viewpoints.
And talk directly, face to face, about those thorny
shows
issues.
like yours. Okay.
Well,
now, the last time we had you on a program, we had a little bit of debate about a wall. You don't feel that the wall is necessary on the southern border. Of course, it's a big part of Trump's campaign. You want the E-Verify and do it that way. But I support the wall not only to keep people out, and I think that has to happen. We have to have an orderly immigration process, but for the narcotics. I mean, you know, Miami is awash in drugs, you know that. And the drugs are coming from Mexico now, not from Colombia the way they used to. And they're coming across that southern border, and it make it a lot more difficult if you had a big barrier down there.
Well, maybe yes, maybe no. But
I don't know how no.
Well,
No, because, Bill, you've heard of ladders, you've heard of tunnels. Give me a break. You can't build a wall that goes down deep enough in the ground, okay, to stop the people from tunneling under those walls. And if you build a 50-foot wall, you don't think that they're going to come up with a 55-foot ladder? Come on.
Because when you have technology and you have more border patrol, but that is a position that I think has a lot of merit. But then you have this other one that I think we talk about a lot more, the illegals that are jumping the wall or defying the desert.
See what I want to do, and I have to go, but I want to do is have a wall down there to discourage poor people who are being exploited and being assaulted when they come up from Central America and Southern Mexico by these terrible smugglers, people smugglers. They brutalize these people. And I think if that barrier were there, it'd make it tougher for the coyotes, and it'd make it a lot tougher for the cartels to get drugs in. So anyway, that's what.
Well, when they jump, they get rewarded with jobs. That's why I'm saying E-Verify.
I'm for that. I am absolutely for that.
So if you're going to punish one side, I think you should punish the other, which are the business owners.
I want to.
Now that, in my opinion, does make sense, but neither one of them is taking into account that the net migration of illegals coming across the border is now neutral, if not negative, because the economy in Mexico has been improving so much. But back to my original premise, this lady doesn't have a clue as far as what's going to go down. She still apparently believes that Donald Trump's shit doesn't stink, and even a slap in her face only prompts her to come back and ask for another. I think that Hispanic vote down in Florida is going to be a big surprise to a lot of people, including her and the people on Fox. And the proof is going to be in the pudding. We'll know the night of November the 8th and I guess the day of November the 9th.